Missed an episode of your favorite podcast? Choose from over a decade of content in our archives, not just the latest episode. All free at GCNlive.com.
This is your call to action. Get prepared, America. Economy, survival, energy, disasters. This is USAPrepares.com. Informative radio, educational radio. Interact now by emailing instructor@USAPrepares.com or text at 434-390-7953. Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli.
Everyone all set? Cocked? Locked? Here we go. Nathan's engineering the broadcast in Minnesota. Thank you, Nathan. If you'd like to give us a call, 866-582-9933. Dr. Richard Allen Miller is with us today, 2 hours, 866-582-9933. Between the hours of 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. Central Time. Telephone listen line is up, 605-477-3249. Welcome, Dr. Richard Allen Miller.
The wind-up. Good morning, Vincent.
Hey.
I apologize. I'm going to be very whiny, and that's a good word. We'll just stick with that one today. I've been sick for more than 7 days, and with the flu, and all the people around me are sick. And we had a 4-hour period where there was no power, and now we've not had internet in almost 24 hours. No internet. And so I'm down. I can't even watch Designated Survivor.
Yeah, what a great series.
Yeah, it covers all the bases, pandemics, the whole thing. It covers it all. It's just when you lose your MTV. I mean, I remember, I remember when it was MTV, yeah. And if you lost your videos, Jesus. But today, it's internet, and I'm falling so far behind in everything because of illness, crass individuals in and out of my life, like train wrecks. I have been invaded, and there are barbarians at my gate, and I can't identify who's a friend or a foe anymore, and it is so scary. It's made me ill. It has, lowered my immune system down to the point where I am weary. I'm old, and I just want to walk away. Let me give you one example of BS that's going on. Our county, the state of Oregon, is having elections right now. Now, my state has traditionally always been no taxes. That is Oregon's premier of you don't pay taxes in Oregon. Well, they sneaky with the way of wording things because a yes means no. And you didn't know that, and I didn't, you vote the wrong way, purposefully being tricked into it. And this is our government on a local, regional, and national level. They are all criminals. And it's time I'm going public and start saying it on individuals because it's gotten so bad that, our graduation class in Grants Pass is 74%. Only 3/4 of the kids going to school make it through high school. What's wrong with that picture, and what's wrong with the management of our cities, our counties, and our states that would allow such gross negligence? And now I have no internet and have not had it for more than 24 hours. Good luck, CenturyLink.
Okay.
Yeah, I've done my little piss and vinegar. I'm sorry. It's really wrong what's happening out here, and there's nothing I can do about it. And voting doesn't mean anything. I want everybody to vote. That is your only right that they have not yet. Oh, well, no, that's not true. They're taking it away now because there are Americans that, like in high school, not high school, in college, that can't vote because they're in a different state. They're doing game playing on American rights, eroding everything. And I give up. I just want to be left alone.
No, don't give up. Don't give up. I'm not giving up. I'll tell you what. I've decided, that I have run unsuccessful. I've been smashed on stage 3 times by the dumbest people I've ever seen at the Laclede Electric Cooperative annual meeting.
They're criminals. They're not breaking the law. They're criminals with intent. With intent.
Well, let me tell you how bad it is. Okay, this is in my face, but no one knows this but me until I say it on the air. So, according to the bylaws, which would be the rules of the game for the Laclede Electric Cooperative, they say that they have to have a group of people, they call it a committee, to find people to run against the existing board of directors. So the board of directors appoints the committee. They say, you, and you, we're all buddies, right? Remember, we're buddies. Remember how all these nice things I do for you. We're buddies. So go find some people to run against me. And without saying it, they probably say, find the dumbest people you can find, the stupidest people you can find, and they get these people to run. Okay? Me, I go there, and I say, I'd like to run, and they say, well, you have to get the membership you have to have 15 names. You got to have 15 people sign a petition. And so, okay, I can do that. So I go and get more than 15 for 3 years. I've done this. And they will only allow me 2 minutes on stage to make my case. And what they say for the other people who the committee has selected, they say, these people have been selected by the nominating committee, for your voting pleasure. Now, what that means is these people, we think are going to be great, like the Walmart cashier I ran against 1 year, okay? Literally. I ran against her. I ran against a guy who owned a convenience store in a motel. Well, this time I decided, all right, I'm going to do it a little differently. I'm going to get the names and addresses and email addresses and phone numbers for all the members. And how do I do that? I send an email to the CEO, and I say, all right, I would like to have the names, addresses, and email addresses and phone numbers for all the members. CEO responds to me, what are you going to do with it? What are you going to use it for? Fill out this form and tell us why you want it. Then I say, okay, I know what I need to do. I need to get my petition signed early. So as a candidate, they'll give me less trouble. So I get my petition signed 9 months early. Okay, 9 months early. And I send it in. Now, their rules say that you will have to have your petition sent in, received, 45 days before the election. So I send mine in 9 months before that. It doesn't say I can't. The bylaws don't say anything about being too early. So I send them in, and what's the CEO do? He says, I don't know. It looks like you got it here early. I'll have to check with the board and see what their intent is. Not what the wording is. See what they, might have meant. Because, Vinny, they hate you. They hate you. They've even said on stage, we don't need any disruption. We have a really smooth working board of directors. We don't need any disruption. What that really meant was that guy that was on stage just before them, he would be a disruption. That's me. Why would I be a disruption? Because I've had it with these thieves. I've had it. So, Rich, I am not willing to lie down and go away. I'm going to make their life worse. I'm going to call them out again and again. I'm going to embarrass them on the air. I'm going to use their names. Mark Rocker, CEO, Laclede Electric Corporation. You know what? Pretty soon I'm going to start giving out his phone number and the board of directors' phone numbers on the air. I've had it with them. Why? Because they keep raising our electric rates. Do they have to? I don't think so. Because they buy electricity from me for 2.1 cents a kilowatt.
Yeah, let's talk about power for a moment and the so-called smart meter.
Yeah.
Okay, so I am now going national like Dane Wigington did with chemtrails. I can prove that 5G technology has the potential to become an endgame weapon. And when I say that, I mean I can prove that they've already been beta testing it. And I can prove that the potential for it being weaponized is a possibility, not a probability, a possibility that that technology could be used as a weapon. Now, in all cases, in our history, in the last 200 years, every single advancement in technology has first been used as a weapon. That's been a fact, and why Eisenhower said, beware of the military complex. Nuclear fission. Fission was a breakthrough in the concepts of understanding matter. And what we use it in medicine, and we use it in war. And which one was used first? And how, by the way, is that working for you as it being used in medicine today? And when you watch what Monsanto and Bayer and what they're doing in terms of the uses of food as a weapon, I'm concerned with putting a smart meter on every single home in America, and they're ramrodding it through. And there is a group in, I believe it's down near Santa Rosa, that have now banned that technology from their neighborhood. But in Josephine County, where I live, Pacific Power is ramrodding it through. And the only, there's nothing I can do because I'm a renter. I don't even have the wherewithal to be a homeowner like most Americans. And this is because I went through a bankruptcy at the moment my little girl died of leukemia. And I have tried to play a catch-up and have never quite been able to get there from here. And that was that mortgage scheming crap that went through at the moment my little girl died of leukemia. We'll pick it up at the end whatever you want to do.
Let's pick it up and let's ramp it up. Let's go get these turds. We'll be right back. So the question is, how is this accomplished, class? Well, it's accomplished by greed, individual greed. And the Liquid Electric Cooperative in Lebanon, Missouri, with 27,000 members, is an example of what's wrong with America. So what they do is they bring on directors who know nothing about the business. Now, you would think that if they want to have directors of Intel or Seagate or Lockheed Missiles in Space or any other bona fide corporation, the directors would be qualified in the subject area of the business. Well, in Liquid Electric Cooperative, what they do is they bring these people in and they train them. You need to know about Ohm's Law? No problem. We'll send you to a class, if you feel like going. And we'd like you to go to 12 meetings a year, but, we understand that things happen. And so if you only make 8 of them, that's okay. And we'll give you free dental. We'll give you free travel insurance. We'll pay you $400 a day. There's a per diem. We'll pay you for, all your training. We'll pay you. How much? Well, these 9 directors consume about $250,000 a year. So it's not like it's free. Well, so every year they have a circus. It's a 3-hour circus at the Cowan Civic Center where we had our Get Prepared Expo. They can hold, it's like 43,000 square feet. They've got a band playing. They've got a local radio station owner as an MC, and he gets up at the microphone, and if it's your birthday, if it's your birthday that year, and let's say Laclede has been in operation 75 years, well, you get a gift certificate for electricity or gift certificate for something. And they give out Walmart gift certificates. They take my money and they give it away. Now, at the same time, they're turning off electricity for people who can't pay for their electricity. And they give, at this annual circus, they have about a couple thousand people show up. Why? Well, because they can, bebop to the music. The Super Red Hawks is the name of the band that they like to have. They give you popcorn and soda and hot dogs and a cookie. And for that little bribe, these stupid people are willing to let these rubber stampers, that would be the board of directors, raise the electric rates higher and higher and higher. 8 times in 15 years. And right after I got off stage this last time, they said, I said, I will lower your electric rates. I won't let the board of directors go home tonight until they've addressed my 10% rate reduction. 10%. Starts tomorrow morning. And what do? They vote for somebody else. Actually, they reelected the same people that they've reelected over and over and over again. The same guys that raise their rates over and over and over again. That's how it's done in America. We have these boards of directors that rubber stamp. And then we have what's called interlocking directorates, where the directors of one corporation serve on multiple corporations that are all in the game together, where they can help each other. Kind of like, tell you what, we'll let you win the bid, that kind of stuff. But, of course, they'd never admit to that. They would never admit to that. So they only give 2 minutes. 2 minutes of time for each candidate to speak. 9 candidates, 2 minutes, that's 18 minutes. And then they've got their lawyer on stage to throw anybody off. Then they've got the police ready to arrest anybody who gives them a hard time. That'd be like me. They had the police waiting on the side to arrest me while I was on stage.
I remember when they had NRAPs outside that facility concerned about me giving a workshop for you.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Well, what they did, Rick, was they sent the fire engines, the fire trucks, lights, sirens, all that noise to scare people out of our convention. It
was unbelievable. I have pictures. I have actual pictures. Grace Thorne is visiting with Julie and I, and we were looking at the different pictures from different things I did in Springfield and other places like that with Matt Stein, others, and there they are, right outside, because I'm a dangerous person.
You know what they said? You know what the reason for them coming with their lights and sirens? They said, well, we got to report that there was a light fixture that might be malfunctioning. Total hogwash. And they scared everybody away. Dr. Richard Allen Miller's with us. Top of the hour news. You might have heard about the suspicious packages. I get suspicious packages all the time. But they're saying that NBCnews.com is saying that some mail bombing targets are former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. I wonder why. Former President Barack Obama, also known as Barry Soetoro. Former CIA Director John Brennan. Big Pockets George Schwartz. Oh, you probably know him as George Soros. Former AG, Attorney General Eric Holder. Representative Maxine Waters. She got 2 of them. And an actor, Robert De Niro. A disgrace. Robert De Niro. You know, and former Jumpin' Joe, the plagiarist, Vice President, former Vice President, praise the Lord, Joe Biden. He got 2. Well, we're looking at Netflix one day, and Mrs. Finelli, I said, why don't we look at that? And she said, no, that's got Robert De Niro in it. Well, I agree. I agree. We won't do anything that relates to Robert De Niro. Jeez. Okay, so that's about the bombings, or not the bombings, the suspicious packages that have been reported.
On both the Democratic and now the Republican parties. The very fact of being violent is abhorrent to me in terms of political views. That's not right. That's not right at any level. And yet, there they all are, all of them, advocating it and acting it out with these bombs and the rest of it. Now, the reason there's a reaction in the Republican Party toward these individuals that are Democrats is because the Democratic Party is advocating violence on abortion, on all of it. And it's how could a right to lifer is death threatening people? How does that work? It's an incongruity that shows how terribly shattered America has become. And that's with Agenda 21, where we now have a law in place that will allow a foreign country, not the passe comitatus stuff. We're talking about a foreign army coming in to enforce civil law. What is going on? And with this vote, this crap that I was talking about just on power meters, where I can absolutely prove the potential of that being used as an endgame weapon. And if it's possible, it's probable, and you can count on it, because that's what they do. That is what they, the military complex, that's what they do. You talk about coups, and like they play on, designated survivor. It's these wealthy individuals that will parrot law for their own use. And they don't even care about other people's rights. And the fact that Clinton, for example, could have done what she did to military in Benghazi, let's not forget what she did there. I'm sick. I don't have.
She wants to run again. She wants to run again.
Good luck on that. I don't think the Democratic Party will let her do that, because that will be an absolute guarantee that Trump will be reelected. If she runs, that's an absolute guarantee. But beyond that, her husband was a criminal that got into the White House. He has an NRAP on that bridge down in Arkansas that brings the cocaine in. Oh, there's your war on drugs. I have had enough, and I would be remiss if I didn't say so. And let me tell you, Amazon's latest. So someone in Los Angeles orders my book off of Amazon from me. Now, that book is not being sold by anybody else but me, except that it was going to be sent from Katie's bookstore. Name it, Katie's bookstore. Now, who is she? Guess what? Amazon refunded the money before any further damage control was done, because they have never shipped that book, Power Tools, from anyone but me until now, and now they're trying to encroach on that one, and because of their vulnerability and the fact I have still not gotten any kind of legal representation. Every single person I have called to try to get a copyright lawyer to represent me, Amazon has already approached them. I called Colorado. Dr. Miller, we cannot represent you because it would be a conflict of interest. Why? Dr. Miller, we can't answer that either because that also would be a conflict of interest to actually let me know who it is. Now, this is 3 years now. I'm penniless. I'm on food stamps. I'm qualified for HUD. That's crazy. It's crazy. And they have so worn me down that I have no reserves anymore. And what they're doing now is they're coming in with individuals that are going to help me, and they're shills. And that's why I got sick this last week. I had somebody that was going to help me, and right as we were doing it, I was abandoned. I'm good enough that it turns out their arguments aren't real, and there it is, and it was a success, independent of what they claim. But, geez, here I am at the end of days, and I'm being worn down financially. And now I read in the paper that my vote was a word and gameplay. I don't know what to do anymore.
Oh, the answer is simple. Rick, the answer is simple. When the corrupt state of Missouri came after our family and threatened to put a lien on our farm, I came out swinging. I told him, I will embarrass you.
To swing. I can't even lift my arms anymore.
Oh, no. Rick, you can use USA Prepares anytime you want. Anytime these parasites come after you, just give me a call. We will take to the air.
I need to stop this nonsense with Amazon, and the only way it's going to work now is a pro bono on a class action.
Okay, so what do you want to do with a class action suit? Let's start it right here, right now. What do you want to do?
Copyright infringement, and having me be able to talk to an American that speaks English, not somebody from the Philippines that will lie and misinformation. We've been twice. I've had, when I say escalate, that is a term used in Amazon. When you no longer want to talk to the person you're talking to, you want to escalate. That means she has to, by law and their founding, get a supervisor. But how do you do that when she goes and gets the supervisor? The person comes on as the same person using a different name. Oh, yes, I have electronic surveillance, including stress meters. I can tell when somebody's lying on the other end with a little meter that moves back and forth just from the stress analyzing. I've got that now as a power tool. I record things. I have found bugs in my home. I have watched my computer start moving screens around without my mouse. I have watched individuals knock on my door that are not real. I am like barbarians at the gate. There is no answer because we've been hijacked. And there it is. And the fact that the Republican Party first started advocating violence, no, not the Republican, excuse me, the Democratic Party started advocating, and now the Republican Party, that's infiltration, because neither should be even talking like that. And yet there it is. Now, I don't know how, I don't have answers. I'm isolated. I have no internet. I had no power for 4 hours yesterday. Now I haven't had internet for more than 24 hours, and CenturyLink. Oh man, one area I can call it is called senior abuse, and I am beaten down as a senior. I'm almost 75 now, and I'm worn out.
Okay, Rick, here's what we do. So, class, let's say you have CenturyLink, or CenturyTel, its former name. When it was CenturyTel, it was a pretty good company. Since it merged with Embark, they've become miserable, absolutely miserable. I think it's like the accountant's syndrome. When I say that, what I mean is, I guess that'd be my term, the accountant's syndrome. That's where a company has accountants walk around and go, oh, we can save money. We don't need people. We can replace people. We don't need to fix those wires. Heck, we'll just leave them.
Line comes to mind. That's what CenturyLink's doing out here. My uplink and download link speeds would suggest, and they are. They've got too many people on the line to be able to handle it, and they are in violation of FAA rules.
Here's what we do. I'm going to have an answer. FCC. I'm going to have an answer when we come back. I'm going to tell you what I think we should all do. We'll start it right here. Dr. Richard Allen Miller's with us. Class, I'm going to read you an email, just part of an email that I got from the freeze dry guy. He called in this week, and he was at the phone.
Say hi.
Yep. So here's what he said. Now, he sent me this email because he wanted me to be introduced to a guy he knows. So the guy's name is Gary, and he thinks that Gary and I should be on the air together. So I'm just going to read one paragraph, and this was written by Freeze Dry Guy. So it says, Vince Finelli, meet Gary. Vince has the extremely popular radio program I spoke of to you. Vince is the guy I liken to Columbo, the old TV character. He's a gentleman who eviscerates politicians with a smile on his face and with the finesse of a bullfighter in the arena. He's also a great Second Amendment advocate. I also know Vince's show is quite popular in Montana. Then he goes on to tell me about Gary. Now, the reason I mention that is that's how I do it. I try to be polite, but I don't back down. Okay, I am confused just as Columbo was confused, but I'm really not confused. Okay, I just portray that character. So I'm going to give you a phone number. So let's say you have CenturyTel or CenturyLink. You call this number, and you tell them, and I do this all the time. I have at least 5 different discounts on our crappy CenturyLink phone service. Okay, because I call them and I pester them. And it takes about 10 minutes. But in 10 minutes, I get $50 off my phone bill every month. And then it used to be that they would leave a discount on forever. Well, then they say, well, just a year. And now it's every 6 months. So I have to call them and remind them to renew my discounts. And I'm very polite and I'm very kind and I'm very confused, but I want to be their customer only because I have no other choice. If there was any other choice that I had besides CenturyTel, I'd be gone. But I don't. They've got a monopoly, just like Laclede Electric has a monopoly on electricity in our area. So they've got a monopoly, but they don't like to say it like that. But they do. So here's the phone number. So you call this phone number. I'll give it out 3 times. And when you get them, you say, I'm a customer of CenturyLink, and I would like to speak to someone in customer retention. And then you tell them that, you'd like to continue their service, but it's gotten so expensive, and you're trying to figure out which bills you need to cut out. Should you cut out your phone? Should you cut out what? Food? Rent? What do you cut out? And you'd like to stay with them, but it's gotten too expensive. How can you help me? I appreciate it. And when you talk to Jan Chang, she'll never give you her last name, but it'll be Jan, or it might be April Chang, or it might be May, or it might be June. They pick Jan for January, April, May, June. They're not going to give you their last name, Chan or Chung or whatever it might be in the Orient, but that's who you're going to be talking to. And just be very polite, and they'll put you in with customer retention, and they'll find some discounts for you. They'll have to transfer you back to America. Right? And they'll do it. It's going to take 10 minutes. But be patient and polite, and you will get your rewards. And so how much? Well, you figure if you get $50 off your phone bill for 6 months, you will have made $300 in 10 minutes. Most people can't do that, make $300 in 10 minutes. But you can. So here's the number, 800-201-4099. 800-201-4099. One more time, 800-201-4099. Give that number a call. Follow my directions if you want, and you're going to reduce your phone bill. Be persistent, and it works. And who else do you call? Well, you call your insurance company. You call your satellite TV company. You call your cable company. You call all these companies with whom you're doing business year after year, month after month, and you've got no choice. Well, you can't throw overboard the satellite TV company. I suggest you start with that. And your telephone service. Just a thought. It works. No question about it. It works. And let's give these guys a lot of phone calls where they can't stand it anymore. And then maybe they'll say, you know what, let's not raise the rates because our phones are burning up because our customers are complaining and asking for discounts. We are going to respond to the attack on we, the little people, the bottom 93% by the big corporations. CenturyLink is in our sights right now. Okay, so being a self-employed person, I take the advantages afforded to me by the tax code. And I broadcast this broadcast from our farm. And I take the deduction of the percentage for the room that I'm using as the broadcast as part of our business. Tax deduction. Then I went into the office. Another room, tax deduction. Okay? So 2 rooms of our house are tax deductions. At least. Now, I have in my hands a CenturyLink demand for payment. And they send these to us every month. And what do they call this thing? They call this a account summary. And they tell me how much I owe them. And the part I'm going to read to you is the details of our CenturyLink package services. Now, this is from April. I just grabbed one of them, any one. And so we have discounts. We start with $87.90 is the recurring monthly charge. Then we have a loyalty credit of $5. We have another loyalty credit of $10. We have a loyalty discount of $5. We have a promotional discount of $10. And we have a promotional discount of $20. So that particular bill went from $87.90 to $37.
How come my bill, exactly similar discount, is $97?
Well, because because they're able to get away with it. Now, if you go to the next page, it says packages. Then there are 6 additional package fees. So there's a federal property tax recovery fee. They charge me.
Oh, yeah, that's where I got it. That's where they got me.
Then there's a federal regulatory recovery fee. Then there's a federal universal service fund surcharge. Then there's Missouri sales tax. Then there's the Missouri universal service fund surcharge. Then there's the Wright County sales tax. Then there are additional charges, which is the federal universal service fund surcharge, Missouri sales tax, and Wright County sales tax. And then there are other fees. There's the federal property tax recovery fee, federal regulatory recovery fee, federal universal service fund surcharge, Missouri relay, Missouri surcharge. So those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 additional add-on fees to our phone bill. Now, the plan is to get your sales tax down, to get your bill down, and to hound these guys and don't let up. Now, keep this in mind. When you call these guys, they have been beaten up by Everybody. Okay, everybody hates them. Who doesn't hate CenturyTel? Everybody hates them. Of course, because they're a crappy company. They provide crappy service, in my opinion. And by the way, they haven't sued me yet for saying these kinds of things. And go ahead. Come sue me. I'll keep saying it. We'll talk about it even more. Well, the people who answer the phones get beat up. I mean, they don't know when they take these jobs that everyone's going to yell at them, or almost everyone. So if you happen to be the only nice guy and say, can you help me? I can't really continue paying this bill because it keeps going up. They'll say, yeah, I know. We get yelled at all the time. So they'll be willing to help you if you don't beat them up. Now, on the other hand, when I deal with the revenue agents, I don't think I have to be nice. I can be civil, but I don't have to bend over backwards and smile at them. I let them know that I'm not doing it. I am not going to yield. I'm not going to yield to these tax increases. I'm not going to do it. And I'm going to make their life difficult because I'm going to make them prove to me everything that they're trying to charge me for. Everything. So, class, you can do this. You can pick up that phone and call that number I just gave you. If you want, I'll give it to you again. Let me just look it up. Give me just a second here. You can call them up. 800-201-4099. 800-201-4099. That's CenturyLink. Call them up and tell them that you would like to talk to someone in customer retention. And you can do the same thing with your insurance company. You can do the same thing with your programming. I don't know if it'll work on Netflix. I don't know. But they haven't, raised the rates so high that maybe it justifies it because they're, $12 now?
They've asked for a $2 billion loan. Netflix just did.
Yeah. I actually hope that these big companies go belly up with their CEOs' packages in tow. I hope they go belly up because of the abuse that we have taken from them. Sears, it breaks my heart that they've been mismanaged to the point where they're going under. Well, they're belly up already. They're bankrupt. Sears is bankrupt. And it breaks my heart because it was a great company. It was mismanaged, I believe, by accountants, just like CenturyLink. And, I asked the guys who come out with the trucks for Laclede Electric. I said, hey, you ever see the board of directors ride around? Come see what you're doing? Not to micromanage you, just to learn? No.
Yeah, are you talking about Sears and Roebuck?
I am.
Yeah.
What a
I remember when I was a little boy, and it started in Seattle, down on Spokane Street, the first store. What a terrible, terrible loss to American icons.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Sears was absolutely awesome. You didn't even have to know much about what you wanted to buy. If you wanted to buy a washing machine, you could go to Sears. I'm talking about clothes washer. You could go to Sears and you could look at them and they would have good, better, best. And you say, well, okay, it's an extra 10% to jump up from the good grade to the middle grade.
Yeah, made by, Mennonite.
Well, you could look at it and you knew for sure that they did their research that the products were actually really good. Even the lower quality, which is called good, then better than that was better, and then best. And you knew it would be okay. And how did you know? Because there was a sign over the door that said, satisfaction guaranteed or your money back. So if you weren't satisfied, if you bought one, you said, you know what? I don't think this is as good as I thought it was going to be. You bring it back. And you get your money back, or they give you the other one, you pay the difference. And if you didn't like that one, you get the other one. If you didn't like that one, you get your money back. I mean, that's what they did. So we trusted Sears. That was the problem. We trusted Sears. Then they brought in the accountants, and the accountants said, hey, forget that satisfaction guarantee to your money back stuff. We don't mean that anymore. No, we're out to take advantage of our customers. Don't you understand? We don't work for the customer. We work for the shareholders. We want to maximize profits. And the way you do that is you renege on warranties. You stonewall the customers that say, wait a minute, I bought this thing and it doesn't work. I'd like my money back. Well, it's out of warranty. It's got a 30-day warranty. Wait a minute. It has satisfaction guarantee to your money back. That's like forever. No, we don't mean that anymore. We don't mean that anymore. You bought it. It's yours. It's out of warranty and tough. And so people who they said tough to, like stuff it, like me, have walked away from Sears. I don't buy tires at Sears anymore. I used to. I don't buy batteries at Sears anymore. I used to. The only thing that I've bought in recent time was their lifetime warranty garden hose, commercial grade, $19.99, 50 feet long, made out of rubber, because it's the best one. Do I expect a lifetime warranty? No. Do I expect Sears to be gone? Yes. But it's still the best hose in its price class. And I can leave it outside in the winter and it won't burst. It's great, and it's $20 plus tax, and tax. But I got to tell you, Rick, I've had it with American corporations, and then they say, well, it's really tough, it's competitive. Really, they go to Asia and they buy sneakers from the factory for $2 and they sell them for $200, or they buy them for $10 and they sell them for $50 on sale, right? They don't need to eviscerate their customers like that. They don't. They could be a little nicer. They could give us a good value. But the people who are nice to the customers don't survive.
You always looked for that label Craftsman.
Yeah. Craftsman. And now I brought back one tool, probably a year ago. It was a 1/8 inch punch. I used to drive out roll pins on an imported car I had for the drive line. And it broke. It was Craftsman. I bought it in the 70s. It was top of the line. It was the best you could get. The reason I spent so much money to buy it, well, $5 maybe, or $4.49 back then, was because I needed a really good one. I wanted it to work. And when you went to buy tools, where else would you go? You'd go to Sears. That's where you went for quality tools. That was it. If you knew it would be good. So I went to Sears, bought it, and then after all these years, it finally broke. I went to Sears to get a lifetime free replacement, and they don't make it anymore. They've got one that's half the weight. I said, I don't want that. It's not as good. Why would I want that one? Why would I want that one when I bought this good one? Why would you give me something that's half as good?
You can buy insurance, with your tool, where for an extra $20, you can have a lifetime warranty.
Yeah, but why do that? Because, why would Harbor Freight does that? You buy something from them, and they say, would you like to buy insurance? I go, no. Now, Harbor Freight is eating Sears' lunch. They have a line of hand tools called Pittsburgh. They are just great. No kidding. And I've broken a couple of them, bring them back, and they say, okay, here's a replacement. Just like Craftsman used to do. But at like 1/4 the price of Craftsman. So why would I shop at Craftsman now to get tools that I can get for 1/4 the price with a lifetime warranty? And I think Harbor Freight's going to be around longer than Sears is. Sears might just might make it through Christmas. David in Illinois, please stand by. We'll be right with you after these commercial announcements. And on the phone line, we have David in Illinois. David, welcome.
How you doing?
Well, I'm pretty hot. Pretty hot. How about you?
Yeah. I've been I could be a lot better, but life's been getting rough. But you were talking about Craftsman, and Craftsman used to be the tools to have. And
even before Snap-on. Yep.
Yeah. I used to, the last 2 times I bought some products from Craftsman, even a metal tool, some must have been defective with it because it actually busted in two. And they didn't even want to replace it. It was sad.
Well, what you do, what I do, when they give me a hard time, I look around to see who would be watching, okay? Mm-hmm. And the more hard time they give me, the longer it takes me to figure out what I'm going to do. And I don't leave. I don't just put my head down and walk out the door. I stand there and I start, talking a little bit with my hands. I don't mean with fists. And people will see me, not swailing, but not waving, but, talking with my hands, and now I become the center of attention, and then the salesperson's thinking, oh, this isn't good, because now people are going to see that we're giving this guy a hard time, and we're not going to honor the warranty. Maybe the customers are going to leave because they don't want to see this. So the more difficult they make it for me, the more I want to stay there.
Yeah, that's what I actually did. Yeah, that's what I actually did. Yeah. And I couldn't believe it, but and I knew something was going wrong with the Sears Craftsman. I mean, they were not even wanting to honor sales that they were having, and I'm like, why put it in the paper if you're not even going to sell it and honor the sale?
Right.
It's just sad, but I have not been back there since. But I mean, it's sad because Craftsman was. I mean, all you had to do was say I had Craftsman, Sears Craftsman. And it was like, wow,
When I worked at Sears, I worked in the automotive repair department. It was across the parking lot from the main store. And by the way, they decided to close that store. I just read about it a couple of weeks ago. Breaks my heart. And anyway, so we would use Craftsman tools in the service base. They would give us Craftsman tools. Why not? Because they were pretty durable back in the 70s. Well, I would go in with a ratchet that we wear out, from lots of use, or would strip, and go to the counter and add a bunch of them underneath the counter, ready for a quick exchange. You didn't even have to say, I don't have my receipt. You just walk up with a Craftsman ratchet, and they'd say, here you go. Sorry you had the problem. It was that fast. You can't get waited on the McDonald's that fast. That's the way it used to be. Now you got to fight with them. And I'm not willing to buy their tools to have to fight to get them to honor the warranty that they said they would stand behind. So a company is only good as their warranties. Okay? And these Asian companies, okay, so since we're on the attack, people have said, what kind of nickel iron batteries do you have? I'm not going to tell you because the company's crappy. The company has sold me 3 defective batteries, and they won't stand behind their warranty. They want me to go through heroics to prove to them. They want videos. They want all kinds of stuff. Well, okay. All right, we'll do the videos. I will go on YouTube, and I will show how crappy these nickel iron batteries are. Not all of them, just 3 out of 40. 3 out of 40, almost 10%. And it's not me. Not me. There's another guy I bought. He and I split a shipment of 81 cells. I got 41. He got 40 because I got a little tiny one as a just one to play with. And he's got 3 bad ones also. And Linda, our gal, I don't know what her name really is. She goes by Linda. I guess it could have been Jan, March, April, May, June. It could be any, they pick names. But they are not honoring the warranty. And I'll tell you who they are. CIYI Battery Company. China. CIYI Battery Company. Would I buy from them? No way. No way. Now you know. Now you know, class, because they're miserable to work with. Now, it's only been taking us about a year. If I could drive over there, I would. I'd be there now. But I can't drive there. We'll be right back. Well, class, it's about time. I was looking at the ratings on TalkStream Live, and we're climbing on the ratings and above the other broadcasters who are, and I'm not talking about those on the same networks as we are, but I'm talking about there's so many people talking about politics, and all you can do is whine about politics, and that's why we have no whining as one of our rejoiners. The point is, we're actually gonna fight. We're gonna fight.
I wanted to say something. I remember Monty Python when they blown both of his legs off and they blew both of his arms off, and he says, "Come back, I can still bite."
Well, that's correct. David, in Illinois, did you have any comments that you wanted to make?
I hear him and what he's been going through, and I didn't think there would be anybody else out there that would be dealing with more than what we have, and I can hear it in his voice, and I sympathize with you.
Well, I got to tell you, a lot of our instructors are surrounded and outnumbered. We're all outnumbered, but we're surrounded by these awful, awful people. I mean, they want They want what we've worked so hard for, and they want to steal it, and we're not going to let them do it. And I got to tell you, I despise these corporations that are just running roughshod over us, and I will not stand for it. By the way, there's a price you pay for that. The people in our village think I'm nuts, and I think they're a bunch of pansies. I think they're pansies. They think I'm nuts. But anyway,
I've
David,
been there.
David, thanks so much for your call.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, by the way, for your support.
Yeah.
Your words help me want to fight the good fight.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. George, welcome.
Thank you. Good morning.
You're in Mississippi?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
You were just talking about politicians in lieu of Elizabeth Warren. I've been instructing my kids or children that whenever they have forms to fill out, that they should mark that they are Native American, because we were all born here in this country. We're native to it. And if they have anybody says anything, I just tell them, you're a Native American, but you're not an American Indian.
Very interesting. Very interesting. When I had those forms to fill out when I was at the university, it would list black, Native American. It had a whole bunch of probably 9 different categories, and the last one was other, and it didn't say white. And I remember when I wanted to go to the teachers' university that my dad graduated from, I wanted to be a teacher, I could not get in, and that was the time that they were equalizing the colors in the class. And that was the time that if you were black, you could get in, just by being black. And I decided that, okay, I got it, I understand. So whenever and this is probably going to cause some problems for me by saying this, but I always marked black. What are you? I'm black. That's what I put. And I'll tell you why I put that. Because I figured that would give one other person a chance. Because they'd say, well, we already got a black guy, so we don't need another one. We already got one.
Well, what you do is you use your German accent, and then you say, I'm Brick.
Rick, I got to tell you, I'm frosted.
I've had enough of this nonsense. This is crazy.
I went for a vision appointment, okay? And they want to know, what are you? It's same categories. It's none of their business. We had a census worker come here, and she demanded to know. She came to the front door. She didn't like the fact that I would only enumerate how many people lived at our farm on a specific date. She wanted to know how many Mexicans lived here. I said, I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you how many Chinese live here either. I'm not going to tell you.
I had the same thing. I had the census worker show up at my house wanting more information.
What'd you do?
I just told her, I said, all you get is how many people live here, and that's it.
Yep. Yep.
Made her go on her merry way.
Yeah, well, they sent 2 waves over to our house for that, and they just wouldn't take no for an answer. But they ultimately took no for an answer. I just tell them I'm not going to tell them. I'm going to do what's required. And they go, let's go to the next question. I go, I'm not going to tell you that either. Let's go to the next question. I'm not going to tell you that either. Next question. I'm not going to tell you that either. And what you have to be willing to do, in order to win the fight, you have to be willing to just go the duration. Okay? Just like we were talking about at Sears. You have to be willing to stand there. Don't turn around and walk sheepishly away. Stand your ground. Say no. They'll say, well, the warranty's changed. No, it hasn't. I didn't buy it under those conditions. I bought it with satisfaction guaranteed your money back. I want my money back, or I want a new one. Those were the terms and conditions when I bought it. You're not changing the game on me. That's how I handle it. And I don't raise my voice till the last. That's the last thing I do is raise my voice. But I've done that too.
Well, I've had after the census came out, they sent another form out wanting to know how much money I made, what time we go to work, and all kinds of other stuff. And I told them, I said, I just kept throwing them in the garbage, and somebody showed up at my house,
Right.
and they asked me if I didn't fill out the form, and I just told them I don't wish to participate in your form.
Okay, and you know, I'll tell you what you can do. That's great. That's great. But there's something else you can do, class, and I think you should all do this. When they call you and ask if it's on the phone, and they call you, say, you know, I need this information. You say, well, hold on just a second. You called me. You've got my number. I don't know who you are. So what did you say your first name was? I'm going to write this down. What was your first name? And how do you spell your last name? And what is your address? They'll never tell you. They'll stop at their last name. They won't even tell you their last name, okay? They stop answering questions at that point because, well, we don't give out our last name. All right, so you're asking me all these questions and you won't even give me your name. You got to be kidding, right? You really think I'm going to participate? And that's what I do. When people come here, I want to know who they are. I want to see their identification. Hold on, I've got a photocopier. I'm going to just go in the house. You wait here. I'm going to go in the house, and I'm going to photocopy this. I'll be right back. There was a guy who came to our expo. Mike Parsons saw me do this for the first time. He was absolutely shocked. So this reporter came up to me and said, I'd like to interview you. And I said, oh, okay. So how many supplies do you have? And I said, I need to see your ID. And I jumped this guy, and I demanded to see his ID. I took his license. I wrote it down. I said, do you have any diseases I need to know about? Because I'm concerned about you being here at my expo. And that guy was sheepishly left. I just had to beat him up verbally. I mean, I jumped him. I mean, who does this guy think he is asking me how many guns, how many forks, how much toilet paper? Who does he think he is?
It'll be...
So, jump these people.
Usually the one I'm looking for. But right out of the gate, look at everything.
Yeah. So, George, anything else you want to share with us?
No, that's it. You gave me a good laugh.
Well, I didn't mean to, but I'm really like this. I really am.
That's why I listen to you, because you make me laugh, and you got your storytelling and instruction is great.
George, let me ask you publicly. We have never met. But let me ask you, I asked this question off the air whenever I talk to somebody for the first time. Okay?
Yeah, what's your last name again? How did you spell that?
Well, I'm not gonna, I'm willing to respect his privacy because there are a bunch of parasites who are listening to this.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, they wear costumed parasites. But George, what can we do? What can I do? What can we do to make the broadcast better?
Just maybe have a little bit more diversity of some other people coming on. I know you have a lot to do, and it's hard for you to schedule people and get them on, but just maybe a few more points of view coming out. Okay, you're the first one. You're the first one that has had constructive criticism to say, here's what you can do. Okay. Yeah, I can do that, but I'll tell you why I haven't. Because I don't have time. So I know for a fact that when Norm Shealy's on, he and I don't discuss what we're going to discuss before we discuss it. Okay. I've got a bunch of questions. I know that he'll be there. I know he's not going to stand me up. I know the same is true with Rich Scheben. I know the same is true with Guineith. I know the same is true with Dr. Richard Allen Miller. Fridays is for other people, but it takes me a lot of time because I have to contact them, I have to research them, I have to find them, I have to vet them, I have to interview them, I have to make sure that we're on the same page, and then I have to make sure they show up. So I have to call them, I have to email them, and it takes hours. It really does. And frankly, I don't get paid. I'm not whining. I'm not complaining. This is a volunteer thing. We're all volunteers. And I do actually have to run a farm. So the problem is, George, I don't have the time. Okay, other guys have staff. I'm looking at Laura Ingram, Glenn Beck, Brian Kilmeade, Mike Gallagher, Mark Levin. Those guys have staff. It's just me. Okay, that's the problem. All those other guys, I don't even listen to. I like to listen to GCN and a lot of great people there.
Yeah, I hope you like to listen to Republic Broadcasting as well, because Republic Broadcasting and GCN are the top alternative broadcasting networks for the kind of messages that we have. They're the tops. And so, please consider listening to Republic as well. Now, why would I be saying that?
Walter Cronkite.
Yeah, but let me just finish. Why would I say that? Because Republic Broadcasting is owned by one of our instructors, John Statmiller. John Statmiller is the kindest guy. Can you imagine John Statmiller taking on another network, all of the commercials, and this broadcast intact with all of the GCN commercials? He takes that and plays it on Republic Broadcasting. Sometimes once a day, sometimes twice a day. That's unheard of. So, my two favorite networks, GCN and RBN. George, thanks so much for being with us. Thank you for calling in. Thank you for your suggestions. Doc Ram and I will be right back. Dr. Richard Allen Miller. Richard A. L-A-N Miller. Our son was rushed to the emergency room last night and is in the hospital right now. And if you're inclined to pray, I'd like to ask you to consider praying for our son. I don't know the status, and I'm anxiously awaiting what the next step is. Another announcement is the Mike Ma seminar, the 3-man militia on how to survive, has been canceled. That's the Save Your Family's Life, Save Your Life, the 3-man militia seminar that we were going to have on Friday tomorrow has been canceled due to lack of interest. I can't believe it. I'm embarrassed. It just kind of shows the sign of the times. I'm stunned. Okay, and Rick, I wanted to ask you about something I think is very important. Physics. The Earth, the wobble. Now, we've been drilling holes in the Earth, and we've been extracting petroleum, and we've been sending it into the atmosphere. So we drill out of holes, leave voids in the Earth. We build buildings to shift the balance of the globe physically. And I know that if I have a truck tire and I don't have the weights in the right place, so I'm off by 1 ounce on the weight of a 50-pound truck tire with wheel assembly. 1 ounce is out of balance, and it will wobble and will damage the front suspension, the rear suspension, the shock absorbers, the tire bearings. And we are doing worse than that to the Earth. We are drilling holes. We are excavating. We are mining. We are putting the globe out of balance. And it took millennia to get it balanced. Now it's balanced. We could predict the weather years ago. Now we can't predict what it's going to do in 20 minutes. What are your thoughts on all that? Am I nuts, or have we done this?
We've gone wrong in almost all directions with our technologies. And we have a responsibility. We don't have rights. We have a responsibility for the Earth. And we're failing miserably. But right now, there are events going on that are even more globally important. The most important right now, for me, is the solar minimum. The fact that the Earth is now absorbing gamma rays and neutrinos and other kinds of creepy high-energy physics stuff that the sun would normally absorb. And because of that, we are going to experience abnormal events in earthquakes, plate shifts. That is absolutely happening right now. The earthquakes that we had several days ago off Vancouver Island are a direct result on the Pacific Rim shifting its plate. And it's going to continue because of the solar minimum. And if you don't think you have seen the end of weather, watch what is about to happen this winter.
Well, I can tell you that the Finelli family is very concerned about this winter, and we've been doing everything we can to maximize our hay yield and to have our herd of black.
By the way, I wanted to say one last thing too. CenturyLink at 7:30 said they would have internet on by 8:30. Yeah. It is okay. It's not on. This is now more than 24 hours without internet, with no explanation why. Do you think that CenturyLink is going to give me a refund?
Yeah, they will. They will. But you got to call them, and they'll say, well, let's see, the monthly bill we'll give you 38 cents. And I've done this. And, when we've had outages, like, no, you're not. No, we're not doing 38 cents. If I'm going to bill out to someone, I'm going to be billing at a minimum of $100 an hour. So all the time that I'm wasting with you, Mr. CenturyLink representative, is money I want back, because your service is not as promised, not as guaranteed. I want to be compensated, including my wage of $100 an hour. And that's what I tell them. And they come up with more money. So you got to call them. You got to drive them crazy. That's the plan. Class, it's simple. You've got to drive them crazy. You've got to be the grit in the gears. You've got to slow them down. That's retail. That's Amazon. That's CenturyLink. That's everyone. Everyone that's hurting us.